this section covers rewriting algebraic equations. Rewriting algebraic equations. So what we're going to do in this section for rewriting algebraic equations is we're going to take an equation in two variables. So for example, say we had an equation like 5x plus 3y equals 2. What I want you to do is I want you to use those properties of equality that we talked about yesterday. Okay, so we're gonna draw a line and we're gonna do some work. Okay, and eventually what I want to happen is I want this equation to turn into something like this: y equals mx plus b. Okay. This is what I want at the end. Now, we should all know what this is. This right here, this is slope-intercept form. Right, very common form for graphing lines, slope-intercept form. So we're going to practice putting our equations into slope-intercept form. We're also going to do a little evaluating as well, but that's kind of like a second part to this. Okay, so this is what we're doing. We're solving equations for y, getting y by itself. Okay, so that is the main goal. Solve, right, and solve. We talked yesterday, getting the variable by itself. Solve for y. Okay, that's what we're doing. All right, and all these examples. So a very short lesson. I just have a couple examples I want to go through, and then we'll do some problems. Okay. So for each equation, part 1, or part A, solve for y. And then the second part, you're going to find the value. Find the value of y by substituting, or by substituting for x. By substituting for x. Okay, so this is what we're going to do throughout all our examples today. Alright. Because we're going to solve for y, that's the first thing, and then we're going to find the value of y by substituting for x. Okay, so our first example we have here, our equation is 2x plus 3y equals 9, and the x value, and our x value that we're going to have, we're going to have x equals -6 and x equals 9. So we're going to do 2. Okay, so let's take this equation, alright, let's draw our line down the equal sign, and y is what I want to get by itself. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get rid of this x term, this 2x. It is a positive 2x, it's adding with the 3y. To get rid of a positive 2x, we're going to subtract 2x from both sides. So the 2x's cancel. 3y comes down equals the 9 and the minus 2x do not combine. They are not like terms. 9 does not have an x. So we just write them side by side. Negative 2x plus 9. The 9 is positive. Okay? Still, looking to get this y alone, it's being multiplied by 3, so we divide by 3. Over here, we take this side and divide by 3. So what we get is we get the 3's to cancel, and we get y equals, so we're halfway there. But then over here, what do? Well, it's 2 division problems. Just like distribution is 2 multiplications, this is 2 division problems. Negative 2x divided by 3 and 9 divided by 3. Well, the negative 2x divided by 3, negative 2 and 3 do not share any common factors, so this does not reduce. So it's just negative 2/3, and the x comes after. Now, 9 divided by 3 is 3. It's positive, so we put a plus 3. So this became that became that, and this is your first part of your answer. Okay. So now that's part A, if you will. So part B, we now have to substitute in the values of x. Alright, our two x values are -6 and 9. So in a different color, let's do the x is -6 first. We're going to plug it in, so y equals -2/3 times -6 plus 3. Notice I put parentheses around my -6. Okay? When you multiply -2/3 times -6, you're going to get a positive, and it's going to come out to be 4. And 4 plus 3 is, of course, 7. So how I want you to answer the question is a point. Okay? This is a line. It has points on it. The point that we just got, when x is -6, y is 7. That's how I want it answered. Okay? Alright, let's do the other one. X equals 9. So again, y equals -2/3. Your x is 9 plus 3. When you take -2/3 times 9, you're going to get -6. -6 plus 3. And -6 plus 3 is -3. So again, I want my answer when x is 9, y is -3. Okay, there's the first example. Alright, so we solved for y, put it in slope-intercept form, and then we plugged in some x values to find some points, right? You get an x, you get a y. Alright, second example. Same idea. Same idea. This time in the equation, we have 3x plus 4y equals 10, and we're going to evaluate it when x equals -2. And x equals 6. Alright. So again, here's my equation. Let's draw our equal sign. Draw the line down the equal sign. Got to get y by itself. Get rid of this x term. It's a positive 3x. It needs to be subtracted away. The 3x's go away. The 4y comes down. 10 and -3x do not combine. It's subtraction. So you just get -3x plus 10. And now we still need to get the y by itself, so we divide by 4 on both sides. The y's cancel, or I'm sorry, not the y's, the 4's cancel, apologize. Y equals, over here, this is again two divisions, -3x divided by 4 and 10 divided by 4. -3 and 4 do not share any common factors, so you get -3/4 x. Notice the x comes after. 10 over 4, they share some common factors, right? I can take a 2 out of both of them. If you remember from those units we were working on. Common factors, 2. So 10 divided by 2 is 5. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And it's a positive, because it's a positive over positive, so we put our plus sign. And there we go. There's your solved for y. Alright. So now we need to plug in these x values. Okay, so let's go to town here. Let's take x equals -2. So we have y equals -3/4 times x, which is -2, plus 5/2. Okay, when you do -3/4 times 2, the negatives cancel, becomes positive, and this 2 will cancel out with this 4 and make that 4 become a 2. So now this 2's gone away, and now we have a fraction 3/2 plus 5/2. Common denominator is 2, already done. Add the numerators, 8, keep the bottom the same, 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So the answer I'm looking for when x is -2, y is 4. Just like that, in a point. Okay, now let's do the other one when x is 6. Alright, so we have y equals -3/4 times 6 plus 5/2. Y equals, so again, when we do these fractions, -3/4 and 6, there is a common 2 in the 6 and the 4. So if we divide each of them by 2, we get a 2 where the 4 was, and we get a 3 where the 6 was. Just canceling out a common factor of a 2. So it's going to be a negative. The 3 goes with the 3 here. Alright, 3 times 3 is 9, and the 2 stays on the bottom. And we add the 5/2 after. So what do we get? Well, I won't do that down there. I'll do it to the side. We can put these numerators together. Negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. The 2 stays the same on the bottom. And negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2. So the point, when x is 6, your y is negative 2. So again, solve for y, get y by itself, and then plug it in. This one had some fractions. Got to remember how to work with fractions. Alright, next. Example 3. Okay, here's my equation. 2y plus x equals 5x plus 6. And we're going to solve for y and then plug in these two x values. X equals negative 3 and x equals 6. Alright, so again, here's my equation. Drop my equal sign, draw a line. Now notice I have x on both sides. Don't worry, we still want to get this y by itself. So we still need to first subtract x. But notice we have a like term on the other side. We have a 5x over there. So they'll combine, okay? So on the left side here, the 2y comes down. The x's go away. 5x minus x, that's 5 minus 1, which is 4. X and the plus 6 comes down. Still want to get this y by itself, so we need to divide by 2. It's 2 times y, so divide by 2. Over here, divide everything by 2. 2's cancel on the left, we get y equals. On the right side, it is again 2 divisions. Alright, what happens here? We have a 4 divided by 2, which is a 2x. Over here, 6 divided by 2, which is 3, and it's positive. So there is your equation. Y equals 2x plus 3. Let's go ahead and plug in our x values. Let's start with x equals negative 3. Y equals 2 times negative 3 plus 3. Again, notice, every time I substitute in for x, I use parentheses. So 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So again, in point form, when x is negative 3, so is y. Y is negative 3. Alright. And then second example, right, when x is 6, y equals 2 times 6 plus 3. That is y equals 12 plus 3, and 12 plus 3 is 15. So, when x is 6, y is 15. And there's our second point that we found for this line. Okay. Alright, last example here. Okay, so here's our last example for this lesson. This one looks like the following. It says 2y equals, never mind. 2y plus 8 equals 5x. Alright, and we need to evaluate it just for one x value when x is negative 8. Okay? Alright, so here's the y. First of all, drop down the line for the equal sign. Here's the y. You got to get that y by itself. So first thing I want to do is I want to subtract the 8. These two terms, the 2y and the 8, do not combine. 8 does not have y with it. So we subtract the 8 from both sides. The 2y drops. The 8's go away. The 5x and the minus 8 do not combine. So we get 5x minus 8. Alright. Still got to get y by itself. Oh, sorry. So it's 2 times y, so let's divide by 2 on both sides. On the left side, the 2's cancel, and we get y. Y equals. On the right side, it is 2 divisions. It's 5x divided by 2 and negative 8 divided by 2. 5 and 2 do not share any common factors, so it's just 5/2 x. Now, negative 8 divided by 2, this is going to be negative 4. So you put a minus 4 there. That's where that minus 4 comes into play, right there, because the answer was negative. So make sure you take the signs with your numbers, and those are the signs that go in the spaces. So there we go. So there's our equation, y equals 5/2 x minus 4. To find y when x is negative 8, we simply plug in negative 8 for x. So we get y equals 5/2 times negative 8 minus 4. 5/2 times negative 8 is going to be a negative 20. This 2 goes away and this 8 becomes a 4. They share a common factor. So it's just 5 times 4, which is negative 20, because it's one negative. Minus 4. Negative 20 minus 4 is negative 24. So the point we're looking for, negative 8, negative 24. Alright, very good. Thanks for watching.